Tomorrow's newspaper front page is hot off the press in just a moment. But first, as the dust settles on the US midterm elections, is a Donald Trump comeback still on the cards? Firebrand Florida government Ron DeSantis' barnstorming victory for common sense last night puts him in pole position to challenge Trump for the Republican presidential nomination in 2024.
We saw freedom in our very way of life in so many other jurisdictions in this country wither on the vine. Florida held the line. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
What a speech! Trump, meanwhile, went on the attack against DeSantis just hours after that emphatic victory. He told reporters, "I would tell you things about him that won't be very flattering. I know more about him than anybody, other than perhaps his wife." So, which juggernaut Republican will be bidding for the White House in just a couple of years' time? I'm delighted to be joined now by former senior Trump advisor and the CEO of Getter, Jason Miller, and the former executive assistant to Ronald Reagan, and she was a staffer in the Trump administration, Peggy Grande. Great to have you both here. So, Jason Miller, I mean, as a Trump man, this didn't really work out as you hoped last night, right?
So we didn't have as big of a red tsunami as maybe we had hoped. Yeah. Maybe it was more of a smaller red wave. But here's the thing that we can't bury the lead. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, the Democrat, who in the U.S. is about as popular as Meghan Markle is in the U.K., she's out. She's out of the job. She won't be Speaker. Republicans are going to take back the House, and we're going to go to a runoff in Georgia to see if we can capture back the Senate. Look, there's no such thing as ugly wins or pretty losses. The fact of the matter is we get the win with the House and the Senate. Those are big wins.
Peggy, are you still backing Trump after last night, or are you actually thinking that Ron DeSantis could be the best hope to unseat Biden?
Well, thank you for having me on. And unlike the Democrats, I think the Republicans have a wonderful opportunity, whether it's Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, or a number of candidates that are being floated around. These are people who love America. They're great patriots. They want to make America great. They're America first type candidates. And so I don't think the Republican Party can go wrong. The Democrat Party certainly is going to have a bigger problem. And we all should be celebrating Ron DeSantis, his huge win last night. Florida is a state that historically has been purple. He has turned it competitively red, and we should all be celebrating that. That and the wins, big wins in Texas, have given us 2 of the 3 largest reliable states now red, which makes us very competitive going into 2024, even up against the behemoth of California, the largest state.
Do you know what? I so agree with you, actually, and it really makes me a little bit sad. I know it's not going to happen, but I would love to see a Trump-DeSantis ticket, you know? Wouldn't that be so powerful? But Jason Miller, it was interesting. Nigel Farage here on the show last night, he's out in Arizona with Carrie Lake, you know, big news star of the Republican Party, likely to become the Arizona governor. He predicted that she will become Trump's running mate. Have you heard rumors to that effect, Jason?
So I wouldn't say so much that I've heard rumors, but I've said very clearly and loudly, I do hope that President Trump picks Carrie Lake to be his VP pick. I think Carrie Lake is a superstar. Once the rest of the votes come in Arizona, she'll clearly win the governor's race there. She is absolutely my favorite candidate of the cycle, set the world on fire. She is going to be a primetime player, so I'm very excited about Carrie Lake. There are some other fantastic up-and-coming Republican candidates that Trump supported as well. J.D. Vance in Ohio, Ted Budd in North Carolina. So the whole big group of new Republicans that are coming in that very much will vote and behave following Trump policies as opposed to the policies and positions of, say, establishment Republicans of the past.
Peggy, are you concerned at all, though, that there might be amongst independent Americans and swing voters a little bit of a Trump turnoff at the ballot box? Because that's what a lot of analysts say that last night's results suggest.
Well, I think 2 more years of the Biden administration, and they will be much more focused on policy than personality. And Donald Trump's policies are inarguably ones that have benefited America and, frankly, the world. A strong America had made a strong world under Donald Trump. And we see the vacuum of power that exists with the Biden administration. And so maybe some people don't prefer his personality, but I think after 2 years of Joe Biden, more in the White House, the policies, whether it's Donald Trump or another advocate for freedom here in America, like our strong Republican candidates, I think we're going to be in a really good position going into 2024.
Now, Jason Miller, you were obviously a former advisor to Trump. You're still very much in a lot of ways in that Trump world. I know you're one of those folks saying, look, he's got to get in this race early. So is that what he's going to do Tuesday night in Mar-a-Lago? Do you think he will officially declare that he is launching his campaign for the Republican nomination?
Great question, because I have been an early advocate of President Trump getting into the race early, locking down the Republican Party and setting his sights on Biden. Although I'm advising the former president to hold off until after this runoff a month from now. Make sure we finish the midterms. That's what we set out to do, is going to win the midterms, get back the House and the Senate. We have to put all of our efforts behind Herschel Walker and get this done, because if get the win with Herschel Walker, get the Senate, then I think there'll be great things. So hopefully the president holds off and maybe we look at a December announcement. And Joe Biden, Dan, I got to tell you, just did a press conference a few minutes ago before we did this segment, and he was asked by Zeke Miller of the Associated Press if he would do anything different in the next 2 years of his presidency than he did from the first two. And Joe Biden's response, nothing. Literally nothing that Joe Biden would do different, not following the Easter Bunny around or shaking hands with the air or
Peggy,
walking into bushes, nothing.
Peggy, he can't even stay awake. Peggy, I mean, this is going to be a painful 2 years, not just for America, but for the Western world, right?
It is. And especially, like he said, if we take the gavel of leadership away from Nancy Pelosi, the reign of terror, the endless investigations, those end. And I would argue that regardless of the number of new House members that go in as Republicans in 2023, it's the type of Republicans we are going to see. These are battle tested, ready to fight for freedom, for their constituents, and fight for America first. And so it's not just going to be the number, it's the type of Republicans that we have elected across this nation, from every background and walk of life, and they're going to take Washington by storm in the new year. Joe Biden has met his match.